Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Jason. Jason from Manchester in England, in the UK. So let's see what Jason has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello.
Hello Jason, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to do the interview with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Great. Just before we start the game, just tell me where you're from, Jason.
I'm from Manchester in the United Kingdom.
Oh, really? Oh, amazing. And
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Brazil, but I live in London.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a spiritual medium.
Amazing. Tell me a little bit about it.
The quickest way to say it is my job is to talk to the dead.
Okay. And
Your face says everything.
No. I'm just fascinated because when in Brazil, where I come from, it's quite popular there. It's very popular for spiritual medium. There are so many centers where you can visit, where you can do consultation as well. So
Yeah.
it's quite popular in Brazil. And how long have you been involved in this, let's say, in this world?
Probably since I was a child.
Mhm.
My family all believe in the spirit world, and my grandparents, my nana, she believed in the spirit world. But about 5 years professionally.
Okay.
So,
Amazing. And in your opinion, what's the best parts of being a spiritual medium, and what's the most challenging part, in your opinion?
the best part of being a spiritual medium is that I get to bring comfort to people who have lost their loved ones, or to sort of bring an end to an argument that maybe didn't end before the person passed into the other world. The hardest part, not many spiritual people are not necessarily very spiritual. So kind of like in any religion, mediums and spiritualists can be quite catty with each other, and that's the hardest part. People having a dig at you just for trying to be nice.
I see, right. Okay, Jason, so welcome to William and the Magic Box. I have here this lovely box full of random fun questions, okay? So I'm just gonna play some music now just for us to get a bit in the mood before the first question. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Hope you like the music. Okay, Jason, ready for the first question?
Yep, go on.
Let's do it. By the way, if there is any question that you don't have an answer for, you don't like to answer, I always can pick up another one, okay? So It's very relaxed, the game is very relaxed and chilled, okay? There's no pressure, right?
Go for it.
Cool, let's go for the first question. Okay, Jason, what scares you the most about your future?
Getting old. I'm terrified of getting old. Nothing else. I'm not bothered about anything else. I'm not bothered about dying. I'm not bothered about money. Just getting old.
But why? Why do you think is that?
Many years ago, I was at my nan's house, and she got stuck on the floor, and she was like, "Jason, help me up." And I was like, "Oh, don't be like bloody stupid, like just stand up." And she's like, "Oh no, Jason, I can't." And I was like, so I helped her get up. But she was the person I thought was like strongest in the world. And to see somebody who's really strong being infirm, it really affected me and upset me. So I've always been a bit afraid of, I don't ever want to be in that position where I'm like, help me out of the bed or help me off the floor. I can't do this for myself. So I suppose it's not old age as such, it's lack of independence and the ability to be independent. That's my biggest fear of the future.
I think I totally agree with you. I think I want to be in this world until I can look after myself. I think I think it's quite sad to see people needs to other people to look up themselves. I think that's a bit sad to see. So I think the same as well. I'm not afraid to get old. I think getting older is a beautiful thing, but I don't want to get to the point where people need to look after myself. I think that's...
Yeah, I guess it's not the getting old, because lots of people grow old like gracefully. It's just the getting old and needing to be dependent on other people to let me have a decent life. And I wouldn't want to have anybody looking at me like I was an inconvenience to them, you know? So that's probably my biggest fear.
Cool.
Or losing my memory.
Yes, a good one actually. This one is, yeah, absolutely.
That scares me a lot.
Absolutely. Let's go for the second question.
Cool.
Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, tell me what's the best part of living in Manchester?
I don't know. Let me just think. As a gay man, I grew up in probably one of the most accepting gay cities in the entire country, and it had been accepting of gay people for like the last 60 years. So it made it easy, and we have a huge gay community. So it was like we always have someone to relate to, and we have good support for people with illnesses or who need counselling or what have you. So that's probably, for me, as a teenager, definitely. There was lots of gay people everywhere, which I know has changed now, but when I was a kid, that was the best thing about Manchester.
Great. Let's get another question for you. The second question is, if you could go back in time, in one moment in memory in your life, what that would be and why?
Oh, so many things. To go back to a happy one or go back to a sad one?
Either way, something that what comes to your mind, like if you could go back in time just to have this beautiful feeling again, or maybe kind of, you know what I mean, or maybe just like, oh, I wish I could have done this differently. Something that comes to your mind when you think about it.
Yeah. So like, I always think of, I went to Israel a few years ago for like Jewish New Year, and we'd gone to Jerusalem, me and my other half, that day. And in the evening, we were sat on the beach, and like, do you know Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah? It was playing in the background, and the sun was going down, and obviously I was young, in love, and just in a lovely, happy place. And I was kind of like, if ever I, like going back to the other question, if I ever lose my memory, if I could keep one memory and just keep remembering that over and over and over again, I'd be happy to just stay there, just like, yeah, leave me here and pick me up when you've finished. So that's my memory.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Tel Aviv Beach.
When was that?
What year are we in? 2017. So yeah, that's my go-to happy place.
Very good. Another question for you. Let's do it. Okay, let's get another question for you, Jason. Next question is, if you could be a character in a movie, who that would be and why?
If I'd have to change my gender, but I would be Storm from X-Men, because changing the weather's got to be like one of the most amazing powers in the world. And I think everybody as a kid used to imagine that they had superpowers. So yeah, I would do that definitely. And Halle Berry's beautiful, so if I could turn into Halle Berry, I'd be happy.
And I think you would be very busy because everyone would come to you, please just leave a sunny day today, the whole year.
I could definitely see myself doing that. Or I suppose Patrick Stewart, if I could be an actor, I'd quite like to be Jean-Luc Picard, I suppose. That would be quite cool. He's a very good actor, and Jean-Luc is a very good character.
Cool.
Yeah, those are the two.
Great, I'll take that. Another question for you. Let's do it. Okay, Jason, just before the next question, as you are a spiritual medium, tell me what's your earliest memory when you have let's say contact with the spiritual worlds, if you remember, like the situation, if you can share.
The earliest time I think I've ever seen a spirit, I was about 6 years old, and I was laid in bed, and we had a dog who's been gone for many years now, and the dog woke me up. And when he woke me up, somebody, I opened my eyes, and somebody stepped in through the window and stood at the end of the bed, and he started barking at this person, and the person like stood next to me, smiled at me, and it was a lady, and she just went, "Go back to sleep," and then she walked off back out of the window. And in that same house, in the same sort of year, there was a man who I kept talking to, my mum said, and we only found out last year that the name of the man that I kept saying I was talking to was the man who lived in that house 200 years ago, and he died in that house. So I used to talk to this bloke who obviously didn't want to go to heaven and decided he wanted to live in our back bedroom. Those are the two earliest, the lady from the window and the man who used to sit in the chair.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Okay, next question is, describe yourself in 3 words.
Complicated. Usually confident. And socially awkward.
Tell me about it.
I'm quite good at speaking. I'm quite confident at speaking. I'm quite confident like talking to large groups of people. I do it every week in church. I stand there in front of 60, 70 people and chat away. You put me in a group of 4 or 5 people or just one person like this, and it suddenly starts to feel very awkward. It's total contradiction. And complicated. I can be very kind. I can also be quite sharp-tongued and like, you know, I do like gossiping. But I like chatting. I find myself a very complicated person. And
I think all of us, we think as well, like we have, sometimes I see myself like, oh my God, I think I'm so complicated. I don't know if there is anyone in the world complicated like me. I think all of us, we have this thought or the thinking that, okay, we are so complicated, I'm so difficult to, you know what I mean? But I think we are, we have the thoughts, but I think we are, at the end of the day, we are just normal. We're just kind of...
All right, I think there's something that we have in spiritualism called you are perfectly imperfect. And God is imperfectly perfect. So like, I am perfect by being flawed, and I'm supposed to be flawed. And in spiritualism, it's so that like when I die, I will give God my imperfection, and that will make him or her more perfect because of my imperfections that it doesn't have. And but contradictory, because I'm very confident, but I really do suffer with like shyness or social awkwardness. I find, especially after the last year, it's got worse, like this year, because we've all been told to stay in our houses.
Yeah.
You get to see people. Now when I've been talking to people in public, it's like, I'm okay. I've not done face-to-face chats for a year, so like, yeah.
I totally agree. I don't understand. I mean, believe it or not, I'm very shy. I'm a very shy person, but for some reason, when I'm, as you said, about communicating and talking to people, I feel very myself, you know what I mean? I feel comfortable and I feel like I just can express myself. But I'm a very shy person, believe it or not. People go like, oh my God, I don't believe you're shy. But just because I'm easy talking, people think that I'm not shy at all. But it's a difference, you know, there are different ways.
If I'm in church and there can be 60 people, 100 people sometimes turn up to our churches, I'll talk to them, I'll laugh, I'll joke, I'll be very like blah, 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 blah. And it'll be great and I'll love it and feel fabulous. And as soon as I step off the platform that we use, if one person comes to me, I'm like, oh, how nice, lovely. Like when there was 100 of you, it's fine, there's one of you now. And now I'm feeling a little bit intimidated.
I hope you're not feeling intimidated with me.
No, it's just you get...
I know what you mean.
I understand how it works. It's so strange.
Understand your point. I'm just teasing now. Let's get another question for you. Okay, next question for you is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever done for you?
I couldn't, honestly. There are so many. Like, it's hard to pick. I suppose that I would say the easiest one, the most beautiful thing somebody could have done for me, was my mother giving me life.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's the greatest gift, I suppose, that anyone can give to another person, you know? And I don't know why I want to say this, but like lots of people like might have difficult childhoods or difficult lives, but they have the gift of life, you know? So it might be a difficult life, but at least you are alive, and that is like really great. And lots of people like go through life looking for love and looking for happiness, but while they're looking for it, they're forgetting that the greatest gift or love or happiness is life itself. And so it's the first kindness someone gave me, and the most important, because without it, nothing else could happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the answer. Jace, I enjoyed the show so far.
Yes, it's interesting. It's
good. Another question for you. You're trying to understand the song. It's a Brazilian music.
I am typically English. I have no rhythm.
No, you do. You're just being modest now.
No. No rhythm at all.
Next question for you is, what's your idea of a perfect day?
Many years ago now, with somebody else, I was sat in a bar, and this boy was sat on the opposite bar, and he was being chatted up by an old man, and he smiled at me, and I was like, wow. So I went and I walked over and just sort of pretended that I knew him and made up his name and stuff, and sort of rescued him. And we just went walking around Manchester city centre for hours and like had a drink, had a walk, sat in the park. I think the perfect first date is one that's like relaxed and where you're at ease with each other and you're being yourself, because there's nothing worse than going on a date where you date somebody for like 6-7 weeks only to find out the whole time you were there they were being the person they thought you wanted them to be, and then you find out they're not. It's like, it's better to just know exactly who they are the first time. So nice, chilled out, relaxed, and honest.
Good. And what's your idea of a perfect day?
Perfect day?
Yeah, sorry about my Brazilian accent.
Oh, it's all right. I thought you said perfect day. Perfect day. I suppose a perfect day is when you finish the day knowing you made the world a little bit better. Like, and especially in my job, you know, we give messages every day. Just knowing that once in a week, maybe, that message has changed that person's life, that is like just perfect. I mean, I give you an example. A few years ago, I was asked to look for a missing person, and I found him. He'd passed away. He died. But that was a perfect day in me, because I'd mended, you know, his mum got his body back, and so for the rest of her life, she's not wondering where he is, and she's not fretting. His family know where he is, and they know that he helped me to find him. So that's always been the most perfect day in a way, because it's the day when I die, I'm going to say to God, everything else I did, just remember I did this thing here, like that good thing, and just turn a blind eye maybe to some of those naughty things that I shouldn't have done. So that's a perfect day, doing one kind thing that changes the world a little bit better.
Beautiful. I love it. Another question for you, Jason. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, you're saying that you got a partner.
Yes.
Yeah? Tell me what's the most beautiful thing that you've learned so far from him.
I suppose that I mean, it's not beautiful, but it's probably one of the things I have learned from him. Everything is easier if you just take a step back, take a deep breath, and just don't let it bother you. And I know that's easier said than done, but he's very laid back and chilled, and nothing really stresses him out. Whereas I get very stressed and sort of we need to do this, and why are you not dressed yet, and why are we not doing this yet? And he's just it'll get sorted, don't worry about it. And that, because if I'm ranting or raving at him about something that's gone on in the day, he'll just sit there and smile at me and then just be like, you feel better? So I suppose that whatever that is, that's a beautiful thing to learn, because it keeps you grounded.
Absolutely. It's kind of the opposite. That's why it matches well, because it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, and we are very opposite. So he's very solidly, quietly confident in himself, but publicly he's not very chatty. But publicly I am very chatty, even though publicly I am the one who dislikes it most. So we have weird, our public face and our private faces are the opposites of each other, but they work well together, which, yeah. And also, I suppose, opposites attract. That's the one, because a lot of people look for this person that doesn't exist.
Nope.
And
I agree.
They're actually, as I've learned over the years, they're actually looking for the person that they wish they could be. And it's don't do that. Become the person you wish you could be yourself. And you'll find that the person you end up loving is totally different to you, because they have things that you don't need, but you probably want. Whereas if you look for what you think you need in a partner, you're looking for what you need in you. And that's what I believe.
It's interesting you say that, because I believe that when you are happy with yourself, you don't need to look, you don't find happiness in other people, in a party. You find happiness with you. And sometimes the most you look for, you never find it. You just need to let things come naturally as well.
Yeah.
And I particularly, what I feel attracted to a person is when this person make me think, when this person is challenge me somehow, you know what I mean? Even not knowing, I feel challenged. I cannot go into this person. That's what attracts me the most, because it's exciting, and I don't like easy as well. I like difficult things, because that's what, when it's difficult, makes you think, makes you learn, makes you grow, everything. So I like, it may sound a bit weird saying that, but sometimes, people, when they challenge you somehow, I think that's about what is about relationships, about that.
I suppose that goes to the idea that a relationship should make you a stronger person, not a weaker person. And if you find that you get sucked into somebody too easy, or you become so dependent on somebody too quickly, it might be their personality that's doing it, but it's not necessarily a healthy thing. So you should be able to stand alone with each other, but stand together and be stronger. And a friend of mine found out that he broke up with his partner a few months ago, and his partner said, you're not enough for me. And he was like, what about me is not enough? And I said, you're completely enough. So long as you're enough for yourself. If you're not enough for him, then it's because he is not enough for himself. And so he's looking for something in you, or whoever, that isn't there, and he'll never find it. He can only go in there and find out what is missing inside him. And whereas in my partner, there is no part of me that really makes me feel that I'm not enough, and vice versa. It's fine. And there's nothing. The other thing is, there's nothing I need from him, and nothing he needs from me, because we're both kind of okay with ourselves, and it's really important to be okay with yourself.
Yes, I agree. Next question for you is that a dream you always had?
Yeah, and I'm doing it at the moment. I wanted to teach people My mum always said I'd either be a teacher or a priest or a doctor, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be any of those things. And she was like, it's what you're made to do. And then I kind of was like, yeah, I could see myself as a teacher or a priest in a weird way. And now as a spiritualist, I help heal people. So I get to be a doctor of a fashion. I help teach people about looking at themselves and growing personally in themselves. And I teach people how to be a spiritualist yourself. And a priest, well, I stand up in a church every week giving messages and talking to people about God and stuff like that. So I kind of become all three, but I always wanted to be a medium. Like I used to sit in church when I was like in my teenage years going, oh, I'd love to do that. I bet that's dead cool. And now I'm doing it. So I don't really have, which maybe sounds a bit naff, but I don't really have a bigger...
No, it's the structure has. The first thing that's you're not right or wrong. It's not what what's your genuine answer.
The only additional dream on top of that is one day when I'm not here, I want somebody, just anybody, to say that once upon a time, a person called Jason told them something and it changed the way they saw the world. That then I've done my job. That's like, I would like that,
Very good, very good. It's funny you say that because my mom thought I would be a priest as well when I was a child. She always thought, because I was in the church all the time. I loved being in the church when I was a child. I was in the choirs, I was singing, I was helping the priest during the mass, and I was very involved. And she never need to push me to go to the church. I always wanted, I loved being there. And I just loved it at the time. So, no, but I didn't have the gift of being a priest. I never had the gift, but I just loved being in the church. At the time, I just loved it, and it was a peaceful place. I just loved it at the time. So she thought I would be a priest, or I would marry a blonde lady, because I'm a big fan of there's a Brazilian entertainer called Xuxa. So I grew up watching her program. She's like for kids, and she's still very big in Brazil in the 80s. Every Brazilian knows who she is, like this blondish. So she was coming every morning, this starship, So imagine watching, I was 3 years old, watching this beautiful Barbie coming every morning, like, you know what I mean? Like music and everything. So I just love this. So are you going to be a priest, or are you going to marry a blonde lady?
It's slightly different, but I can see a point, yeah.
Okay, Jason, let's get another question for you. Okay, Jason, just before the next question, did you ever had like challenge moments regarding being a spiritual medium? Like, I don't know, like because of the society or people, did you ever have any kind of challenging moment or period in your life?
Yeah, I suppose at the very beginning of doing it professionally, that was challenging. Because obviously, like, we live in a world of logic, and I went to university, and that made me more logical. And a few things happened that made me doubt that there was anything like God or what have you in the world. And about 6 years ago now, I came into my house and there was a lady sat on my couch, and I started talking to her like she was a real person. And then when my other half came in, I introduced him, and he was like, there's nobody there. And I was like, and she was gone. And over the course of the next few weeks, this lady kept coming back, and I actually thought I was going mad. And so, it got really, really bad. I mean, she didn't say anything nasty. She was a very nice lady, but I was like getting myself really upset that there was this person that nobody else was talking to, and she wouldn't go away. And then I went to a psychiatrist, and I said, like, I need drugs, lots and lots of very powerful drugs. And he did some tests and things, and he said, I can't find anything wrong with you. I'd like you to go to a spiritualist and see if they can help you, which is not like a medically advised thing to do. But as soon as I walked into the church, this lady was there, and she was like, finally you've like turned up. And But as for people, living people, no. Like, nobody seems to have found it strange. In Britain, it's like quite a normal thing in a way. My dad, because my dad's is a religious man in a way, and he likes to think he's clever and he knows everything. So everything in the world has an explanation. He's the only one who was slightly awkward about it, because he was like, this isn't a job and you're conning people. And I was like, okay, but I spoke to thousands of people who would say I've not done. So, but he's coming round. He's slowly but surely, he's coming round, and now he says, like, you know, have you spoke to my mum and dad this week? Like, how would I speak to your mum and dad? And he's like, well, when you're doing what you're doing. So he's getting there.
Yeah.
And my stepfather was a Catholic, so he was a little bit iffy. But then I told him something about himself, and he was like, only my mum could have told you that. And I was like, hey, I know. So he believes now. So yeah, well, everybody else has been really weirdly okay about it.
Good, very good. Next question for you is, if you could have a superpower, what that would be and why?
I already have one. I do the impossible, talking to spirits. I'm not too bad at predicting the future. Kind of get it right most of the time. I can tell you when your fridge is going to break. Not that that's a superpower. And you know, to be like super, maybe super lovey-dovey, I have a superpower that everybody has. I've learned over the past few years to be kind and to be able to heal myself. And those two things are superpowers in themselves, and everybody has them, because kindness changes the whole world, and being able to heal yourself, kind of like Wolverine, I suppose, but on a spiritual level, it changes the whole way you look at the world, and it changes everybody around you as well. So I already have a superpower.
Very good, very good, very good. Jason, I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Yep, lovely.
Let's do it. Next question for you, Jason, from Manchester. Next question to you is, if I would ask your best friends right now to define yourself in a positive word and a negative word only, what that would be?
Well, my best friend frequently says I'm amazing, so that's a positive word.
Okay.
And I can't say the word that she uses negatively to describe me, as it's a very bad swear word. She does tend to use one word at me very often. She would say I'm too honest.
Okay, cool.
Because sometimes I will, when I get drunk, I can't lie. And so I just say, I say blah, 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 blah. And she'd be like, do you really think that? And I'd be like, I said it, didn't I?
Oh.
So yeah, she would say I'm too honest as a negative.
Right, Jason, 2 questions left.
Lovely.
Okay, next question for you is, what is the worst first date have you ever been on?
Oh, there have been so many of those. There was one when I was a student, and he was a dental student, which would have been brilliant, like could have given me teeth, but he was just like incredibly arrogant, and he was just, I don't know, it was just awful. It was a car crash to the point where I left. I just went to go to the bathroom and walked out, because it was really patronising, and he basically spent the whole time speaking about himself and what he was going to do. And then he was like, while we were sat there, he was laying out what my role in our relationship would be, even though this is like date number 1. And then he basically made a suggestion that if this was going to be a good first date, we'd have to like do what have you, like things that you say for date number 3 or 4. And I was like, no, I'm all right. I don't find you that attractive to even want to do that. So I just was like, I'm going to the toilet, and walked out and just like left. Because he was awful. I always remember that. And it was a friend of mine had said we'd get on really well together. Oh. I could have killed her. Like, I don't know what you were thinking.
Bless him.
I've spoken to him years later, and age has definitely made him nicer.
Good. Very good. Good for him. Ready for the last one?
Yeah, last one. Okay.
Let's do it, Jason. Before the last question, who is the person who always supports you the most regarding your career or your gift?
Probably my best friend Melissa. We both started at the same time. We went to the same church, and we met like 4 years ago, and we spoke every single day since. I thought she was I thought she was a bit stuck up when I first met her, but it turns out she's now my best friend. So probably her or my other half, but my other half doesn't really talk about it because he's not interested. He's just like, you do what you do, and so. But he's supportive. He's never ever questioned it. And when I gave up my normal job to do it, he was just like, "Oh, if it makes you happy, go for it."
Totally, I agree.
Even though I said to him, I remember saying to him that day, I'm like, I'm probably about to bankrupt us both and do this as a job. And he was like, be fine, just do what makes you happy. If you're unhappy doing what you're doing now, just do what makes you happy. So he is quietly the most supportive. She's vocally the most supportive.
Does Melissa know you are doing this interview with me today?
She does, yeah. She was texting me before. But yeah, she is the most supportive, and she's a lovely lady. And it's funny, when you bump into people that you think you're never going to like or get on with, and you just don't see anything there. And then 5 years later, we talk every day. We are best friends, and not just about spiritualism, but we've become, and she is the best.
Very good, very good. I'm sure when she watch this interview, she's gonna be happy for sure. Okay, last question for you is, how would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
I think it's really, really important to know that whilst perfect, healthy relationships exist, they are not in the most common. Relationships are not easy. And I think a healthy relationship acknowledges that it's not easy. That life is hard and that relationships is hard. Love is just the first word of 1,000 other words that you use in a relationship. And to stay together, we've been together 9 years now. Sometimes you have to know that you don't always like each other, and to be okay with that, things they do you don't like, and to express that, but to not focus on it. There's so much more than this one issue, and so many people, I think nowadays, a friend once said to me, everybody wants the love and the romance and the sweethearts and teddy bears. And a lot of people, when that runs off, when the happy honeymoon period runs off, they want it back. And then they go somewhere else to get it back. But wherever they go, they're still going to have to wash their underwear and their socks. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. I understand what you mean.
And so to tell people that it's not always wonderful, and it's really important to know it's not always wonderful. And sometimes to know, we had a conversation years ago now, where we were on the edge of splitting up, and neither of us wanted to, but it was where it was going. And we listened to a song. For some reason, it came on the telly while we were talking. We listened to it and both said, like, you know, so what do we do? And we both just agreed we were just going to carry on. Like, we've come this far, this is here, but we don't know what happened. So we sort of gave ourselves a line and said, if this is still here at this point, then we'll leave it here, but we'll carry on past to this point and then see what happens at that point. And we got to that point and like we forgot it had even come before we'd already passed it. So I suppose it's on the most important things is honesty and being realistic.
Agree. Communication as well. I think is the main keys. Absolutely.
Yeah, honesty, communication. It's so important to talk because so many relationships as well, and we definitely did it when we first started. You get into rows about things that neither of you are actually angry about. You both think you're angry at each other with one thing, and it turns out it's totally wrong. And when you talk about it, you realise it's just a massive misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
And then they blow up. And independence. I think it's really important to stay independent of each other because, like one day I won't be here, and one day he won't be here. And I think you need to be able to cope after that, and to be like, I'm okay by myself. I'm happy being in a relationship, but I'm cool on my own.
Good. Absolutely.
I think that's important.
Jason, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the quick thinking game. So I'm going to give away some words and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with family.
Complicated.
Money.
Irrelevant.
Love.
Powerful.
Life.
Essential.
Sex.
Pleasant.
Politics.
Misunderstood.
Religion.
Not for everyone.
Fear.
Silly.
Friendship.
Crucial.
Desire.
Desirable.
Regrets.
Unimportant.
Success.
Measurable.
Happiness.
Temporary.
Wish.
Hope.
And if I say Manchester, one word.
Home.
And spiritual medium, one word.
Joyful.
And the last one now, God.
Everything.
Cool. Right, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely partner and I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Jason and tell me something that he needs to improve on. What do you think he'll tell me?
Oh, it's the same thing. I think he loves that I am very emotional and sensitive. He also finds it exasperating. So I think,
both can go either way.
Yeah, because I love fiercely, but then because I love fiercely, I get hurt fiercely as well. And possibly overthinking. He always has a go at me for overthinking.
And if I ask the same question to Melissa, what should say?
A good thing, she would say I'm loyal.
Uh-huh.
A negative thing, too trusting.
Okay, cool. Jason, let's play now Jason and the magic box, and you can ask me a question, okay? Okay, Jason, you can ask me a question now.
I have no idea why, but what is your favourite season of the year?
It's a very easy answer, very easy answer. My favorite season of the year is autumn,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. I always liked since I've been living in Europe for the last 20 years. I left Brazil when I was 19 years old. I was living in Portugal, and I remember like I don't know the colors of the autumn, like you know, it's beautiful, the trees. Some people find depressing, but for me it's so beautiful, the colors. You know, it's not very cold and not very warm. It's kind of middle, and it's like a changing, you know, like change the leaves. It's a change moment. I just find beautiful. I just find really fascinating, you know, to see this colorful. It's very cozy as well. So I always liked it. And once somebody told me, or I read somewhere, that you feel very connected with the season of the year when you were born.
Yeah.
And for me, it works perfect because my birthday is in November. So I just feel fascinated. And for me as well, it's like, it looks very European as well. You know, so the whole vibe, I just like of course I like summer, spring and winter as well. But I have a very special connection with autumn.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Mine is in England it's technically springtime, but what is for the rest of the world winter. So like January, February, March, which is English winter / springtime. I love that. It's cold, but sometimes when you appreciate the sunny days when they come, and you get to see the flowers, which, like, you know, the first flowers of spring are the most beautiful flowers of the whole year. And it sounds silly, but I always think those flowers are so brave. They stick their heads out even though they know it's going to be cold, and they just shine and look beautiful. And
strong, beautiful there.
Yeah, strong, yeah, and I love that. And the freshness. I always think in the end of winter, beginning of spring, the air is fresher than it is at any other time of the year because it's still cold, it's still sharp. And I like that. And it also, like you say, you have a connection to the month you're born in, and I'm born in December, on the first day that winter starts in this country.
Which day?
December 7th. So technically the very end of autumn, the very switch over into winter. But I love winter, spring, the switch over is just brilliant. And then obviously there are sheep. I like lambs. And it's like all new life in it. It's constant. It's just life is new, and that is my favourite. I don't know why I wanted to ask you that. It's frustrating.
Very good. Did you have a good time, Jason?
I did. Thank you for inviting me. Didn't know what to expect, but lovely. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being kind and sweet and sharing this experience with me. And if you don't mind, share a positive quote or positive message, something that inspires you.
There's a guy from Portugal, I think he might actually be from the Caribbean, but he lives in Portugal, called Muji Baba, and he said in one of his books, the sky doesn't waste time on counting clouds, and the sea doesn't waste time counting waves. The sky and sea simply are sky and sea, and all the rest is just passing by. And I think the idea is, be true to who and what you are. Everything else is just passing through. And if you can stay true to yourself, nothing can ever really shake you, because they're just clouds and waves, and you are the sky and the sea. And I think that's a really... Or another one, just one quick one. If you meditate, somebody said to Buddha many years ago, what have you gained from meditation? And Buddha said, absolutely nothing at all. But I have lost anger, jealousy, sadness, wrath, and all other negative things by sitting in silence. And I always think that's a really good one. Like meditation, you don't get anything from it, but you lose a lot. Very good. I like that. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much, Jason. Thanks for being nice and sweet. Thank you very much. Lovely. All the best. Thanks so much. All regards to your partner and to your friends. And keep in touch. Thank you very much. Okay? God bless you and your family. God bless you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.